You all know, by the way, good afternoon. You all know we all have different heroes for different categories of our life. And then we have those who inspire us in every aspect of our life. I have 3 of those. One of those is my wife, and the 2 others are my 2 brothers. Sorry, I wasn't going to do this. My 2 brothers are Ron and Gary. I am amazed and at awe of how they have handled adversity in their life. I would encourage you to talk to them. It'd be wonderful to do that. But I am here. I think they should really write a book about adversity in someone's life and an inspiration. I am here to introduce Ron. Marty mentioned to me about introducing him, and I told Ron that, and he had 2 words, and his words were, be nice. So that might tell you something about the wonderful relationship me and my 2 brothers have. But Ron was diagnosed with glioblastoma, which basically is a very aggressive form of brain tumor and cancer. Anyway, he is here with his wife, my wonderful sister-in-law. Oh, by the way, I have 2 of the best sister-in-laws in the world. He is here with Charlotte and Emily, his daughter. Unfortunately, his other daughter, Bethany, and the rest of the family are out of town and are not able to be here. Ron is from a community called Massey, if you know where Massey is. They asked me, and I try to explain it, somewhere between Danville and Hartselle and Falkville and Speake. So if you know where those areas are, it's kind of where Ron lives. He has taught school for 39 plus years. And I have to tell you, teaching was not a job to him. Teaching was a passion. And when I say was, he would still be teaching today if the doctor hadn't encouraged him to go ahead and retire. And we have all decided that I don't think he ever would have retired. It was such a passion to him. 39 plus years, and he has taught all grades. I don't know of anyone who's really taught all grades, K through 12. So he is an amazing man, not only because he is my brother, but he will not get to tell you 100th of what he could tell you and what a wonderful person he is. But I know you will be inspired by what little bit you do hear from him. And I want to introduce my brother, Ron Beavers.
Takes me just a little while. I'm sorry. When I told Mickey to be nice, I was thinking about our age difference. There is 10 years between Mickey and I, and 5 years between me and my brother Gary. And when we were in school, Mickey was in 1st grade, Gary was in 7th grade, and I was a senior. And little brother Stan, they were just pests. So I thought Mickey might be getting back at me for some of those things I did to him when he was little. He started telling you a few things, and I was afraid he was going to tell you all my speech that I was supposed to do this afternoon. But anyway, I am a school teacher, and this fall I was to begin my 40th year. And I loved my job with a passion, and I hated to give it up, but I had no choice because God changed my plans. And I know God didn't put the cancer on me. It was from Satan. But God, I think, sometimes allows things to happen in our lives. And we have to just trust Him and find what good there's supposed to be in these things. Well, my journey with cancer began in July when I first discovered the first symptom of my brain tumor. I had no headaches. I had no seizures. I had had no dizziness. But I'd played the piano for 50 years, and I could sit down and play the piano with my eyes closed. That day that I sat down in about the middle of July to play the piano, my right hand hit every note perfectly. My left hand was just like a bumbling idiot, you know. It could find no notes right. Well, in a few days, I tried it again, and the same thing happened to me. And I realized something was wrong there. There was a disconnect somewhere in the nerves in my arm, or a disconnect between my brain and my hand. The next week, I was trying to put up a curtain rod in the bedroom. And I was so shaky I couldn't even use the drill to drill the screw in the wall. And my wife was very upset. And so she got me an appointment with my doctor, my regular doctor, my family doctor. And I went to him, and he immediately ordered an MRI. And so on August the 6th, that was on a Monday, my school year was to begin with a computer workshop. And I went to school anticipating a good year like I always do, and like I always have had in my 39 years. And Charlotte, my wife, called me that morning and told me the doctor wanted to see me that afternoon. So I made arrangements to leave school and went to the appointment. And my doctor told me that I had a brain tumor. Now, I don't know how you're supposed to feel when the doctor tells you you have a brain tumor. Some people may feel panicky. Some people may be scared to death. But I had none of these. I had the most sweet presence engulfed me right there in the doctor's office. It was such a presence. It was just a wonderful peace that I couldn't tell you. I can't explain. You know, the Bible tells us about a peace that's beyond any understanding. And I think that's what God delivered to me that day in the doctor's office. A peace that passes all understanding. I still don't understand why I've had a brain tumor. I asked the doctors if there was something that I could have done or something that I didn't do that could have prevented it. And they seem to think not. It's just one of those things that happen to you. But I don't necessarily believe things just happen to you. I think God allowed this to happen to me. I don't know why yet, and I may not know why until I get to heaven. But I'm beginning to see things through this that may be beginning to answer that question. My wife and I began praying for direction, that good doctors would be placed on our journey in dealing with the cancer. And when we met the neurosurgeon, we kind of looked at each other, and we knew God was answering our prayers because he was a kind, compassionate doctor with the best bedside manner. And he was the one that did my surgery. He also answered our prayers when we met our oncologist and when we met the radiologist. The one thing I'm most thankful for is that through all this, I've had no pain. I haven't had headaches. I haven't had seizures. The only symptoms I've had is a little imbalance, even since the surgery. When I came out of the surgery, and I was in ICU, I woke up and I had a headache, and they gave me medication. The headache went away, had nothing since. And that's been quite a few weeks ago. Surgery was on Thursday, and I came home on Saturday. God is good, isn't He? On Friday, I walked from ICU up to 6th floor to my regular room. And I thank God that He has been with me through all this. Most people don't get to realize how you've affected or influenced others. Now, I don't want you to think I'm bragging here. This is just what God has given me. Most people don't understand how you've influenced people, but I've been honored to understand that. I have got a basket about this long. Am I stretching it too far? About this long, with letters and cards packed in there. And then I've got about this many more in another basket from former students. Of course, if you teach for 39 years, you understand that you've gone through a lot of kids and a lot of parents and even a lot of grandparents also. But I've got that. And cards from former students, churches, and many of you here, I'm sure, have sent me cards. I've got cards from churches from all over North Alabama telling me I'm on their prayer list and they're praying for me. And I can honestly tell you, I think that's why I'm able to walk from my pew up these steps and stand here today. My daughter put a Facebook page up for me. What's a Facebook page? I know what it is. I've heard what it is. I don't understand it. I'm old. But anyway, she put up a Facebook page for me where she could update friends on how I was doing through my journey with cancer. And I've had hundreds of responses on that Facebook page from former students, friends that I haven't heard from in years. And it's been such an humbling experience to know that many people are praying for them. It's just wonderful. I think Bethany, that's my older daughter that put the Facebook page up, told me that I had a little over 1,300 hits, whatever that is, on Facebook in the first 2 weeks. And to imagine that a little over 1,300 people have me in their thoughts and are praying for me. Why can I be sad? How can I? And I have a neighbor. He's an older guy and he's retired. And he's not a Christian. We were talking at the mailbox one day. And he asked me, he said, "How are you dealing with this?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I don't think I could deal with it like you are." He said, you're still the same person you always were. And I told him, I said, "How can I not be the same person?" He said, "But I'd be wondering and asking, why me? Why did this happen to me?" I said, "Well, I'll tell you what my thoughts are on that." I said, there may be some young mother here with little children that would have the same thing that I had. And she can't raise her babies. I said, how can I fuss? How can I grumble? How can I say, why me? I said, there may be a young man and woman that just got married, and they have the rest of their life ahead of them. I said, how can I say, why me? And I've never questioned why this was allowed to happen to me. I know God didn't give it to me, but I know God may have allowed this to happen to me for a purpose. And I want you to know something today. If me being here causes any one person to rethink their life and come to the Lord, understanding you need Christ as your Savior. Just one person. If it's just one person, then all of this cancer junk that I'm going through would be worth it all. It would be worth it if just one person understood that they need Christ as their Savior. I want to thank a family. They've been such a good support. I have got the greatest support system you ever could have. And I know a lot of people don't have that. We were at the radiologist center this past week, and there was this guy that came in, and Charlotte's my wife, have noticed that he hasn't had anybody there with him. He's always come by himself. And yet, that particular day, he came in the front door and he fell. And the nurses all gathered around him, and Charlotte had been talking to him. He had moved from New York, and I don't think he had a wife. I think she had passed away. But he was alone. He had nobody. He was coming to the radiology center, driving himself. And the nurses thought his blood pressure bottomed out, which caused him to fall that day. I felt so sorry for him. He didn't have a support system like I did. And family, thank you for that. And I thank you for that. My wife has a plaque sitting on the cabinet above the sink, and it says, "Our life is a gift from God." What we do with that life is our gift to Him. Think about that. Your life is a gift from God. Please repay Him by living for Him and being such a good person. And I thank you for inviting me, Martin. I appreciate it very much. And continue your prayers for me. I just finished my last chemo session this morning. And I finished my radiation last session of it Tuesday. And then I get to rest for 6 weeks. And I'm hoping that during that time I can recoup, get my strength back, and get back to more normality than I have had. But I still have that perfect peace that surrounded me in the doctor's office that day he told me that I had a tumor.